Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday today, the 13th of February 2025. I trust you're well and you're looking forward to something interesting. I hope I can keep your attention too. I've been doing some videos on biblical prophecy, and today I want to continue with that aspect. Before I even tackle the real meat of Revelation 13, as I said I would, but I want to actually build up to that point. So far, I've built up on the idea of kingdom, empires, and the beast system, showing that it's a rule of government, a system of government, and not an animal in a previous video. I also built up on the idea of the methods of execution when people had to be sentenced to death in society. We had various periods in history where there were differences to these execution methods. For instance, like in the Old Testament times, stoning was the method of execution when people were sentenced to death or they were judged and so on. Then we had the cutting off of heads, even in the time of the Tudors and, that period of history when people had to be judged and sentenced, their heads would be chopped off in their death sentence. And we also got, for instance, in the French Revolution, the guillotine, where it's a device, a huge blade that was launched up or mounted up and would be set free to come down and chop the head off of those that are sentenced. We also had, for instance, the period of time when the Romans had a method of execution, which we commonly know as the crucifixion, where people would hang from a tree. The interesting point there that I wanted to bring to you is the accuracy of the Bible, because in that instance, when in the books of Isaiah and Jeremiah, when it was talked about prophecy of a coming Messiah, it was also pointed out that he would hang from a tree. The Psalms had prophecy there, and this was hundreds of years before people could even dream of that execution method. So it just shows you the accuracy of the Bible, that despite time, somehow the prophets would be able to, through the Lord, be able to predict and to prophesy even these kind of things. Then we had hanging. And then we also had the lethal injection. We had the electric chair in our times. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that it's going to be again instituted in the future. The Bible is accurate also in this. So as we see now, people are sentenced to death if there is death sentences by lethal injection or electric chair, but this method of chopping off the heads of people will be instituted again, and it'll show again the accuracy of the Bible, because in the beast system, in that empire, that's going to be very cruel and ruthless again, similar to the Roman times, but this time they will cut off the heads of the people who do not comply. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is to build up on this idea of kingdoms, methods of execution, but also to show the accuracy of the Bible, because when I get into Revelations 13, it's a done deal. One can't speculate and say these things can't happen because it never was done or things like that. You're going to find out that the Bible is accurate and the cutting of heads is going to take place. Today I want to talk about, also build up on another idea. So I built up on the idea of the kingdoms, and then also empires, the beast system, and then also the methods of execution, just to show you the accuracy of the Bible. But today I also want to build upon the idea of the rapid increase in scientific knowledge, technological developments, technological inventions and discoveries and so on. Why? Because I want to build up also on the idea that the beast system utilizes these advances in its system of government, in its oppressions of the people and so forth. So I come from the era when we had the telephone, with you put your finger in on the number and turn it the full circle to where it'll stop, and that's where the term came of, the phone is ringing, or we're going to call, and we will ring, we'll cause it to ring. We had what is called in the early days the switchboard, where people would be connected to other people via an interceptor, or people that sit at the switchboard and plug in where the call is going to go to. So it was very primitive some decades ago. And then also we had what is called the phone booth, and the phone booth would be on certain corners, and the people go there and they'll ring, they'll put their coin in and ring. I'm just trying to trace with you the rapid development of science and technology. Then it was the phone card that you could use, the number on the phone card, or punching or inserting the card. It was several generations of development to get to what we call the cell phone. And then the cell phone also went through several generations of development to get where it is today, where we have the smartphone. Um, the smartphone, for instance, can do wonderful things today, but it developed very fast. The early days of the cell phone, when people would have, very basic actions or operations on the phone, but today you can do your banking, you can do your security, you could be across the world somewhere else and be able to view your property through cameras. You could arm your alarm, you could disarm your alarm, you could see who's coming to your house, and you're not even you're kind of thousands of kilometers away, but you can see that via your cell phone. The cell phone can open and close premises, etc., etc. So that smartphone is a a development towards something. And this is the point I want to make, that in the beast system, technology is going to be so advanced that it's going to be easier for this particular empire, this rulership, this government of what we commonly refer to as the Antichrist. In the Christian world, we refer to the Antichrist, but there's other names to this person who's going to rule as the beast, the system of government. And I can go into several other things that have changed phenomenally over a short period of time in terms of decades. For instance, you have your camera on your phone today, but remember there was a time where the camera had to be loaded with the film, had a flash that had to put on for the light, and had to go to dark rooms, or you go to a facility at the supermarket to show where your photos will be developed from the film that you hand in. But look, today it's on your phone, and the pixels that are on the phone, the accuracy of the pictures is phenomenal. So cell phones, smart TVs, look at the recordings, for instance. In the old days we had the beta recorder, put in a video thing to record, and then we went to the next one. I can't even recall the name of it. And then we went to I don't even remember some of these things because the rapid development has been so fast. You purchase one thing, and the next minute it's out of date, and you purchase another. And it's also your laptops and your computers. The computer developed from, very primitive in a sense. Today we'll see it as primitive, but basic things. Today it's doing wonderful things for us, and everything is based on that. And now we moved into the QR, that you scan things and so on. So why am I saying this? Because the Bible is accurate. And the Bible says certain things about what's going to happen. People can't even dream about it at the time of living in their time. But as we move through the centuries, as we move through the decades, we come to realize, oh, but the Bible said this in some way or other, but the Bible is inaccurate. It's been proven to be accurate in several instances, and I've named a few in earlier videos, and there's more that I could name. But the idea here is to deal specifically with the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, and that we are in the end times, and that what the Bible says we must take note of and be in preparation for a terrible time that's coming, because similar to the way the Romans were brutal and cruel and vicious in their rulership of what was known to the world that time, this time the beast system will rule the world, not only around the Mediterranean and Europe and North Africa and into Asia, but this will be the whole world. And that system of rulership will be possible because of these technological discoveries and inventions. And as I just indicated now, it's been so rapid that I can't even keep up with, and there's many people who can't keep up with the development. And you'll find that as we're going forward, it's actually going to increase in its rapidity, in its rapid development, that we're due to see some really, really, really outstanding things. But the believer needs not to be overtaken by the wonder of all of this, because it's going to entice a lot of people, and they're going to be enamored by all the wonderful things they can do with these new technological devices and developments. But it's all related to how the beast system is going to operate, and makes it possible for that to be done so effectively. So take note of what I'm saying. Please share the information, you can comment, please, positive comments. I've getting very few, if not any, comments in my videos, but I appreciate the fact, because I hear of other people who get some very negative and very cruel or disparaging kind of comments from people who simply want to just not listen to anything that's at an angle to how they see things. But be that as it may, have a great day forward.